All right.
Hey
Round
again.
2. Hey again. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm happy you're here. Very
Thank
happy you're
you.
here. Very happy that you've decided to join me for this episode.
Yes.
But we've been talking.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it first clicked to me that I'd want you to kind of come on this kind of regular, not so formal kind of podcast episodes because, first of all, you're a great talker.
Thank you.
I've known that. Well, we have a history with each other. We've known each other since college.
Yes. Well, more like
bit before
secondary
that
school
as well.
Yeah.
But properly through college.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say. And I've just known you to be a kind of very interesting mind since then. But yeah, like recently I've been seeing you doing your 21 questions on Instagram stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like you're starting to kind of, like you have a kind of interest in mind and you're using this platform to kind of put out like the questions that kind of come to your, you know what I'm saying, your thought process, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting off with a question.
Yes.
Like, first of all, who are you? And why did you start deciding to do these kind of Instagram stories? And
okay, so I'm Lady Nille. Sorry to cut you. I'm Lady Nille, aka Nille. I started these 21 questions because I'm very curious about what other people think about society and stuff like that, and I don't feel like people ask questions that are uncomfortable to people. So I'm like, I'm not afraid to ask questions that people are scared to ask, and I'm not afraid to voice my opinions even if you may be offended by it. I'm still gonna voice my opinion. I don't give a business, like I don't care. So that's it, and I just kind of want to know what other people thought and just start a conversation, start a discussion, and just, you know.
So how many replies have you started getting? Like,
so
I'm sure it's kind of.
It's just mad. It's just going mad. So like every time I do it, not all the 21 questions has a response. So if you have Instagram, you know it has like the response bit. Yeah. So I'll do the percentages for everyone, for all the questions, sorry, and then I'll do the responses for like particular questions that I know is more than just yes or no. Yeah. If that makes sense. So an example of a question, I think I did this one this week, was like, is sex overrated? Like that is like, it's yes or no, but it's, and I know why you're laughing. But it was the first thing that came to my head. It's yes or no, but obviously response is, why is it not? And then people will DM me or they'll call me up and be like, I think this because A, B, C, D, F, G. Whereas compared to other questions where it's just like, who has better jollof, Nigeria or Ghana?
That's just a straight yes or no.
It's a straight yes or no. It's kind of like, it depending on the level of the question will depend on how I've structured it and who's gonna voice their opinions and stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So it came out of a need to, again, just kind of ask questions, I guess.
I'm a very curious person, and I think because of my degree, we're taught, obviously I study sociology and criminology, we're taught not to believe anything that you hear. So I'm that kind of person that if I see something that gets me mad, I'm gonna rant about it and I'm gonna put it in my 21 questions. That's just me. Like all the things that's happening in America, England.
So what do you get from it then? So when people kind of reply to you, is it kind of understanding what people believe about certain topics, or is it just what do you get from it?
I don't know. I think I like to see people's opinions. I like to argue with people about their opinions. I like to see what people are coming from and why they think the way they think. And yeah, that's it really. I like to see what other people think, because I know how I've been brought up is to think a certain way, and I know how you've been brought up. You probably think a different way to me. So what if we could find a common ground where we can agree to disagree, or agree and I can learn something from you? And that's what I love. I love to learn from other people. So as much as I don't agree with everyone and their responses, I can accept where it's coming from. So yeah, that's it really.
I get that. No, I get that. I guess that need to kind of like see where everyone is at has always kind of been the same thing with me. Like, for me, my opinion as always, I've kind of seen it as like my opinion will only get kind of stronger and kind of more well-rounded if I kind of hear others and if I kind of know what they're saying and what they may or may not kind of agree with. So I see where you're coming at, and that's why it was very intriguing to me, because I've seen you've been doing this for a while. But then obviously when I just thought, okay, these are the types of things that are quite kind of good content for a podcast anyway. So
definitely.
cool.
I hear you.
All right, I heard that.
That's it, really. That's all I like to do.
And so, should we start with a question? Should we get into one?
Let's go through the 21 cues. Okay, right.
Cool.
So I think I'm going to do season one. So this was like 4 or 5 weeks ago I put this one out. So
I love how you got seasons. That's cool.
Yeah, because I think next week's I'm going to start doing themes. So my 21 cues are out on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. So yeah.
Jeez, nice.
Can
get the time slot in there. I like
it.
It's
every Wednesday, and I make sure it's out by like 12 o'clock. So you have the whole of Thursday to go through it, DM me, respond, and then by like 7, 8 o'clock on a Thursday evening, all responses will be out, and then whatever. So
cool.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So because I had a rant yesterday with someone.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Because they're annoying. We're just going to go through the 21 cues and then we'll kind of go back into that conversation because they're crazy. So, question 1 is, can a person of color be racist? And I put, before you answer, think very carefully before answering the question.
Okay, before we go into the questions. So it seems like these questions, it seems like these questions have a certain theme.
They are.
Or kind of certain kind of topics of interest in mind. Speak on that a bit, like why is it to do with, I've seen quite a lot of stuff to do with about culture community.
Yeah.
Particularly the black community and black culture.
Because I feel like, how can I explain this? I feel like we have our issues within our own culture that we don't discuss and we don't question it. And there's a lot of things, as much as we're progressing and we're doing well as black people, or black and brown people, if you want to call it BAME, we're still lacking in a lot of things. And the more I read on it, the more I'm like, we should be asking questions.
Quick question there then. So you say lacking in certain things. What do you mean by that? Because I think it's dangerous to say that because people will assume that you're comparing to other communities.
But I am. I'm not going to lie. Cool. I am comparing to other communities. Cool. I'm comparing to...
Do you think you should though?
But I think we should, because we should be doing... As much as I'm the kind of person, I'll get on to everyone. I'll go to white people, black people, everybody.
Yeah.
I think that as a black woman, I expect us to be better. We're not better. So it is what it is.
But what's the idea of better?
Better is like...
I feel like this is a... Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Why are we not supporting our own? What's going on with that? Like things like that, as in we'll complain oh, man bought out this business, do. No one's supporting me. But you have other communities, like the Jewish community, the Asian communities, that support each other. But for some reason, when it comes to black people, you fail to do the same.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and I get I just wanted to touch on that just because that's a kind of topic of interest, and that's something that I guess when you're talking about discussion, that's quite controversial and it gets people riled up.
And
so, no, I definitely agree why. Well, I can see why you kind of place support and importance on kind of talking about stuff like that. But I do think it can be quite problematic, and I can see where you're trying to get at. But we shouldn't always compare. But it's for me, it's more of an understanding of where we were before. We haven't been given the space to kind of figure out something on our own terms.
No, I agree with you.
And because we've been what's happened in the past has been so problematic, it's kind of really broken our kind of sense of community down. So it's we're now kind of, I guess it's starting to get to this feeling it's okay, we're black people and so we support black people, but a lot of it has been in kind of ethnicity kind of driven or kind of nationality driven for a very long time. So there's been a sense of breaking down. Well, there's been proof and actual kind of that our communities have been broken down for a very long time.
Honey, I agree with you.
No,
but I agree with you. But I think it's a thing of
But I hear you. But I'm just saying, with that kind of idea of comparing, I think it could be better to talk about what looks like a better
I hear you.
kind of world for us instead of trying to frame it, because we don't come from the experiences of other communities. Our experiences
are much different.
much different, and we gotta respect that. So was another communities, and kind of respect what they did with that. Our kind of thing is going to be different in inherently, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why I think it can be quite problematic. I see why you're doing it, but
I mean, I touch on other things too.
I know you do. I know
Yeah,
you do.
I do touch on other
So talk on that.
So I do touch on because obviously I'm a Christian as well. So I'm always curious to see what non-Christians, Muslims, and other people think as well, and I like to compare it. And
so you're very much in the comparison.
I no, it's not like comparison. I just like to see. Okay, so my Bible tells me this, but your Quran tells you that.
Yeah.
And I like to see what's the similarities, what are the differences,
and what can you learn from it,
and what can I learn from it. And that's like the most important thing. I feel like if you're on Earth, you should be learning from others constantly. Improve.
I agree.
So I do ask questions that are a little bit controversial, and that's okay. I talk about race, culture, ethnicity, sexuality, religion, food, even down to food, like.
Yeah.
But I like to do it because I want to learn and see what us as young people are actually thinking and what we're actually doing. And every time I do it, I'm very shocked by the response, because there are some people that I would think would choose a yes, but they choose a no. But I'm like, bro,
so is that speaking
I saw
to
you at church and you're Christian, but you're choosing no. What are you doing?
But is that speaking to like your conception of people?
I think, yeah, but that's my conception and how I think we're supposed to be. So when I see things like questions that I might have put out there, like, is nobody, I think I put a question about like no human being is illegal, or is there such thing as a legal immigrant? When I saw like certain people say yes, but I'm like, but you believe in this.
Wait. Say that again.
So like one of my question was, is there such thing as an illegal immigrant? In my concept, no. Yeah. But anyway, I'll get into that. It's very political, but that's how I am.
No, go ahead.
I said no, but because of what I believe in and what I assume you believe in, because we're in the same umbrella,
I guess.
Why you choosing the opposite? You know when it's like, that's your guy, and this says a question, and you're like, I know my guy would choose this because we've spoken about this, we've been taught this, and then they do the complete opposite. Bro. I have to look at you like, are you mad?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, what?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I've had to literally drop friends out because of stuff like that, man. Like, seriously.
I was just like, okay then. But I was like, okay, Jesus watching you. But anyway. But yeah, but I just like to see what other people think. And I mean, people do sound a bit controversial, and that's okay. It's okay to be controversial. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to make people question themselves. And I like that. I like when you question yourself. I like to ask you questions that you actually have to think deeply. Do I believe this because of me? Or do I believe it because my mum told me this or society told me that? Do you know what I'm saying? So
figuring out life for yourself.
Figuring life for yourself.
I think that's very important. I think it's very important for sure. I've been a big fan of that for sure. And that's how I kind of live my life, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, go on. Let's go on to the questions.
Let's do a 21 question. So
let's not do a race one. I feel like let's ease into it.
Don't worry, I'll try to do a question. In fact, let me go on my notes because all my notes have them. So I will do a random 21 questions, and I'll try not to do race ones or culture ones. For now,
let's ease it because people think this is it being called the. Let me just talk on that for a bit. It being called the BlackPrint Podcast. People think it's a black podcast.
It's not, guys.
It's not. It's not a black podcast. I'm a black man doing a podcast, which inherently makes it a black podcast. So like when people like, don't be looking at my podcast and think it's a black podcast. I'm just a black man doing a podcast.
I like that.
And like for people that want to know where the name came from, I was in a community meeting one time and someone said something to do with like kind of creating a new way, a new idea, a new consensus of like what we want to like in terms of black youth and black community.
But that means it is a black podcast. So you just said a black youth and black community.
Yeah, so it came. So like he said the BlackPrint. So like, he said like, you know, you have the blueprint.
Oh, I hear you.
Okay, so he said the BlackPrint, and he used that as in place of the term blueprint, just in normal conversation. And for me, that kind of struck me because it could have been called the blueprint. It could have been called the white print. The reason why it's called the blueprint is because it was blue piece of paper
I hate you.
and there were white sketches on it. So it doesn't really matter what it's called, is what I'm trying to say.
Listen,
it doesn't really matter what it's called.
Yeah, you're just going to make your mark. That's what you're doing, basically.
That's all it is. And it just happens to be that I'm a black man. It's not black podcast.
I like that though. But
so anyway, let's jump into
let's
questions.
We'll do 21 questions. I'll go through them. Keep count because I've got like 101 questions here. Okay, do criminals deserve to be happy?
Where did this question come from?
It's on my
notes. There are
notes.
loads of people that are criminals.
No,
I'm
but
sure
do
you know
criminals
people that are
deserve
criminals.
to be happy?
Let's
break it down.
I would technically be labeled as a criminal. I'm not going to say what I was arrested for, but I was arrested for twice when I was 15. I don't have a record, but I would be technically a criminal.
But you don't have a convicted record though, so technically no, you're not criminal. You've been stopped, but you're not criminal.
Well, you don't know what happened, but I have spent like a night in jail and all that stuff. Yeah. Well, not a night, but I spent some time.
How was that?
Yeah, that's a conversation. But I'm just trying to say, like,
cool.
you know people that are criminals. Everyone knows people.
I
that
know,
are criminals.
But do they deserve to be happy? Because I think the question
that's like asking, does anybody else deserve to be happy?
Okay, I think I might actually still have it on my thing. So I'll do the breakdown of like what said yes and the responses of that. Because I know that a lot of people said yes, but if they're like murder and stuff, they don't deserve to be happy. Hence, that's why I come with the question.
See, it's purely personal then. It is a personal thing.
Hence why the question is yes or no and why. Because if someone killed, example, if someone killed your mum, right? God forbid.
No.
But they're a criminal.
No, unless you use something else. Let's not even put that into this sphere.
Thaddaeus, but they're a criminal, yeah? Do they deserve to be happy?
No, of course not.
Okay, but somebody else would say yes.
I see what you're saying, but like that's why I said it's purely personal. That's not an objective question to ask people. Well, not even like that's not. It's more kind of telling of their personality as opposed to something deeper. Is what I'm trying to say.
I hear you.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. Right, we'll do another question.
Yeah.
Thaddeus is scared to answer if they're happy or not.
I mean, because you could argue for and against. That's what I'm saying. It's purely personal.
Okay, cool. Are wars necessary?
A war is necessary. You have to give me
Just
if you're asking, okay, but where did that kind of
where did that question come from? I think I was just watching the whole like with Syria and just throughout history, people are just out here just creating wars for what reason? But obviously to them it's like they feel like it's their right to do a war, it's their their duty, or they're trying to protect. Like I understand why people may go to war, but are they actually necessary? Is there other ways of calming the beef?
Are we talking about, all right, what are we talking about in general? Like,
no, but in general.
Are we talking about people's need to go to war?
No. In general, like, are wars necessary? I'm talking about the whole concept of a war. Is a war necessary?
So like a war could be like a local gang war or something like that.
Any sort of war, like if it's taught like country war, like political wars, anything, are wars necessary?
All right. Speaking from how I like concept. But speaking from the way I like to kind of think about it, which is putting yourself in the shoes of the people that make these decisions. I'm sure the people that have gone to war have totally felt that it was necessary. Regardless, that's what it's purely personal and it's purely subjective. What you think is necessary and what I think is necessary is two different things. There's no objective, my necessary is the same as yours. Apart from probably like food. anything else from like a necessity good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything else is up for debate. So like I'm trying to say that a lot of people that are looking at it from the outside in terms of wars and stuff will probably think like, no, this is pointless. This shouldn't be happening. That's why a lot of people kind of campaign. That's why a lot of people feel quite strongly about certain wars that are happening right now, and because of the atrocities that kind of come as a result of them. But it's not like you weren't there making the decision. If you don't like the concept of wars, especially on a like political level, you have to disband like a government. Like you can't tell the government who they can and can't war with and tell them if it's necessary or not. Sorry, that's just how it runs.
And
that's just how it runs. They don't care about your opinion.
I know, but some wars are not I mean, I see it as in like, cool, I can understand if a country, okay, like example, World War One and Two with the whole Germany and all, like that's necessary.
Do you know how these wars started? They started over the most unnecessary.
I know, it's unnecessary, but it was.
No, but I mean, literally, do you know how this? Like,
just, I did history, yeah, I did history, but I'm just saying, is in like what the Nazis were doing to Jewish people. It was necessary to go to war because of
before that was happening.
Before that, it was dumb. But after that, it was necessary.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
However, there's other wars.
But that's because everybody else, but not everybody would agree with that. Okay. I'm guessing, I'm telling you, the Nazis that were doing these things would obviously disagree with what you were saying. And not just the Nazis. The Nazis had allies. The Nazis had Italian allies, they had Japanese allies, they had allies. It wasn't just Germany doing this thing.
I know, but they started it.
I know, but I'm just trying to say it's more to do with like circumstance, I guess.
I think you would like this next question.
Context.
Does drill music contribute to crime?
I've talked to people a lot about this, and it's not a yes or no question. It's yes and no.
Someone said yes or no as well, actually.
What did they say about it? Like just
I think someone said that no. What was it? Let me get it up. They said like no.
What do you think though? What do you think?
I don't listen to drill, so I can't comment on that. So
okay,
I can't comment on something that I don't know
because I don't listen to it either.
I mean, I've
heard exactly. Yeah, I've heard songs.
I don't want to base an opinion based on what I've heard.
For me, I just don't like the music. The music is kind of dead to me. Like
it just sounds all the same to me. I think all rap music sounds the same to me anyway. So yeah.
All right, you're speaking from just not liking rap, but me,
what do you mean?
As a rap fan,
everyone stop. Everybody stop. Everyone stop.
Only me, you know.
Who said I don't like rap music?
You just said.
No, I said I don't. I said it all sounds the same to me. Does not mean I don't like it.
Fair enough.
There's a big difference.
But you just said it all sounds the same.
No, all sound the same. As in, everyone's got that. Just I can't even do the beat. Yeah, that dumb beat, right?
But you went from drill, which I agreed with you on, and then you went to rap. And whilst I agreed,
isn't drill rap under rap under drill?
Yeah, it's on the drill, so it's not the only thing that rap is about.
It all sounds the same. It sounds the same to me. The only person that sounds different is Kendrick Lamar.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to agree with you either, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, I think I found it. So some people said that if you lived in a closed world, they're never stepping outside the ghettos. Your mind is everything. So I'm assuming that he's talking about drill music as in like if that's all you know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then somebody else said that it promotes violence consciously and subconsciously. That was their response.
Yeah.
So I can see why they would have said that, but I mean, I don't listen to it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, if we're talking about drill, it's not drill. It's more about a lifestyle. And drill has come to kind of play a very important part in the lifestyle more recently.
But the lifestyle is wrong.
The lifestyle has evolved to become things that people do or don't agree with, given your circumstance. It's like telling somebody that's in that life that your life is shit. They don't give a fuck about your opinion, first of all. Like, they don't, because all that matters to them was what was created. Like, I don't know. I don't even like to try and speak on the mindset of other people too much, but I know it's a deeper thing. It's like just speaking on drill. Like, I think drill is a kind of unnecessary music genre. I do. Like, just because like the sounds are actually very, very generic. Like the beats, the music. You said it all sounds the same, yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you, but I'm saying, like, in terms of if it increases violence, I don't think it increases violence. Do I like it as a genre? No, I think it's dead. But just speaking honestly, there are some people that will make drill songs and it might sound cool, but they always usually using the same flow,
and I don't like the same flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I shot this person today.
I mean, yeah, but just speaking on like the lifestyle part of it, like I just think it's a part of their lifestyle, and it's come to be the forefront of it, so people are going to naturally go to it now. And yeah, it's just about lifestyle. I think it glamorizes, like a lot of the reasons why young people would get into gang life is because they view it as a path in general. And let me just talk on that just very quickly. So there's this idea of assimilation. Okay, I think as black people, we have kind of two options, if you want to be really basic about it. We have two options, and then we have the third option, which is the option that we create for ourselves. So the two options is that you assimilate to the kind of Eurocentric society around you, being that it's a system that's, just speaking frankly, guys, again, this is just because I'm a black man and I have lived experience and I can speak on this, but it's a society that isn't created for black people. That's just what it is. I think everyone knows that. But
Tell that.
and then like being born in this country and then having to navigate a society that isn't built for you could mean that you become what people would call, it's not what I would call, but just to keep it quite generic so everybody would understand what I'm saying, become white. So that really means become something different other than your roots. Like, so assimilating in that option, and then there's option 2, which is assimilating to black culture, or what you believe is black culture, because assimilating is just fitting in. Like we're social creatures and human beings, and we want to fit in so much, and whether we believe it or not, we just choose what we idolize and then want to fit into. So again, am I gonna idolize the kind of idea of meritocracy and work for everything, study really hard, get what I want, get a good job? That's cool.
Do you believe in that?
Yeah, but not in
that concept.
Not in the system.
Okay, cool.
Not in the system,
right.
But I do believe in that. And then it's because again, it wasn't created for black people, so that's the only reason why. 2 minutes. So
it's created for us. So boy.
Yeah. Cool. So like, it's not. Yeah. So it's broken. In that kind of instance, we're trying to fix something that's broken, and it can be done, but it's harder. Anyway, and then this idea of assimilating to your idea of black culture. So it could be in that lens that it's gang culture, or the people that are around you, which happen to be black or of that kind of culture, because there are white poor kids too that are in gangs, roaming around with black kids, just as like one and the same, basically, and that's how they see it.
So do you think that's more class based than actual race based?
Yes,
to an extent.
Yes, to yeah. I think like gangs and crime and all that. We study sociology. Anybody that knows that. But like it's like where you have poverty, you're gonna have these things.
Okay.
That's just what it is. But it's more so, to be honest, the message that I want to get out to people is that it's more so like, as black people, like we've been given this idea that we have to kind of fight our way through life, and
it's not really an idea, it's a fact though.
It is, but that's come from the fact that we're in a system that doesn't work for, and we're trying to make it work, as opposed to like creating our own shit, basically.
Which we should be doing.
Or like this is what a lot of people are doing as well. Creating our own shit also means not kind of following the idea of meritocracy and education system and stuff like that, and figuring out what works for you, but staying true to yourself and your culture and your community whilst you're doing that. And that's very important, not to just forget who you are, because at the end of the day, you are black, and there's a whole bunch of important history that you should be proud of. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we have a lot of stuff to be proud of, and to kind of promote the positive. I don't just the kind of alternative idea of a black man or a black woman or a black community. There's a lot of positives that we can highlight within our community to begin with, but because we're kind of conflicted by being presented, especially for families that grow up in poverty, it's quite easy to attribute black culture to poverty basically. And we have kind of owned it. We've owned the fact that we for example, come out of the struggle. When rappers get rich, that's all they talk about. That's all they talk about.
It's true.
That's what keeps them grounded.
There are black people that are not born into poverty. So, third question is, I'm sure you like this one. Should all drugs be legalized?
Yes.
What? Ooh, whoa.
Yeah, of course.
Whoa,
I mean,
Thaddeus, all drugs. I can understand some drugs.
All drugs should be legalized. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about crack, cocaine.
Yeah, all of that should be
heroin.
legalized. Yeah. I don't mean like companies should start selling them. No, that's not what I mean.
But why do you think they should all be legalized?
I think they should be decriminalized, not legalized. I think they should be decriminalized because like criminalizing drugs doesn't make it doesn't help anybody. It literally does not help. There are literally there are countries that have decriminalized all of the drugs that people use in society for that very reason, that it doesn't actually help anybody. And it solves more of your problems to decriminalize the drugs than it does to criminalize them. So that's my answer to that question. What do you think? You're asking me all these questions, but you're not telling me what you think. Okay,
so according to the 21 question, 83% said no, only 17% said yes.
83% said
no, they shouldn't be legalized.
Why do you think people
because I think the majority of the responses was like people just go off their rats if it's legalized, which I kind of agree. I feel like drugs should be it's a fine line between,
but what okay
I'll give you my opinion. So I believe that some drugs should be legalized, like weed and Molly and all this other
party drugs, basically
party drugs. I think that should be legalized. However, the hard stuff, I don't think it should be legalized. Only because there's more damage in them. Like, a bit of weed here and there isn't that bad. Not that I smoke weed, but I know a lot of people that do smoke weed and they're not off their rats and they're quite functioning. They can do what they need to do. And plus, it also means that hopefully whoever was in prison that was only dealing weed will be able to come out. So that's my concept on it. But I feel like, why would you want to legalize something like heroin when that can destroy somebody's life and it's very addictive? That's what I would never understand.
Because the people that have taken heroin are still I honestly don't think it will kind of change the rates of people taking it. I really don't.
I don't think it would either. Will get
if like the people that take heroin know that it's a bad thing.
I know, but that's
like no one
that's
thinks.
My problem though. Like
I don't think decriminalizing or making it legal would change that fact.
No, I agree with you, but I think it's a thing of like, instead of even if you decriminalize it, you have to go to the root of that person's problem. If you've been abused, you may be using crack cocaine to is it depress or suppress it?
Depress, I think.
Is it depress it?
Yeah. Because they're depressants, I think.
Yeah. So you need to go to the root of that issue and that problem. That's how I see it. Instead of taking drugs, go to therapy. Get that thing sorted out. If you've been abused or if you're upset or if you feel
but then you're just speaking in general because it's a vice, right? If you take drugs, it's a vice. People are going to find different vices. There's always going to be something else to supply.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. You need to go to the root of the problem.
I get you, but like, I'm saying that decriminalizing all drugs, does more to help and stop people getting into it than it does to
I don't know. It's a thin line though.
It's just like, first of all, you have people not getting locked up for selling it. Well, I think people still get locked up for selling it, but not getting locked up for using it at least. So that means that there are less people in prison, less taxes being taken up because of that. Like, there are actual real benefits to like having it decriminalized.
I agree with you, but I think it's a thing of like, it's just a thin line of like, even the system now. I feel like if you've been caught using it, you should really be going to rehab, not prison. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Yeah. So I think what we're talking about is decriminalizing, because legal is different. Legal is different. Legal is mean like you're literally allowed to do this and we don't care.
But that's the thing though. But I feel like some of them should be allowed in that concept, like weed and Molly and ecstasy should be allowed in that context. As in, like, if that person wants to take it, that's them. That's their person. Like, that's them. But when it comes to harder drugs, then maybe it should be restricted for people's own good.
Do you know what? I'm not going to argue against that because I don't really care about people taking, like, I probably don't want people taking more. No, I mean about the harder drugs. Like, I do agree with you on that sentiment that I wouldn't want that to be regularly available to anybody.
Anyone,
I wouldn't want anybody to be influenced by it being decriminalized to then try it.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
That's a bit
so
sticky.
I get what you're saying, but for me is when you're asking me that question, I would say no to it being legal, and I would say yes to being decriminalized for sure. Because there are places like Portugal which have literally decriminalized all of their drugs, and they've you didn't know this?
I never knew that.
There are places, and I think Holland did it as well. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's not all drugs. I'm gonna
go check that out tonight.
But and they've actually benefited from it. Like, it's the progressive thing to do.
This is something I was talking about earlier off camera.
Yeah.
Is marriage necessary or is it old fashioned?
You go first.
I'm a Christian, so marriage is definitely necessary, and that's all I have to say for that one. So,
all right, I think it's necessary for people that believe it's necessary.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's just what it means. Like, if you're not Christian, if you're not religious, if you're not kind of under the influence of, like,
I'm so sorry, everyone stop.
Like social norms that promote marriage.
Okay, you just said I'm under the under the influence. Yeah. Okay. First of all, marriage is clearly a big. Okay. Do you know what? Let me just phrase this correctly. I want people to come for me and be like, do some that. Mm-hmm. Okay. If marriage wasn't that much of a big of a deal.
I think you're talking about monogamy first of all, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If marriage wasn't that much of a big of a deal, then why would people like the LGBTQ community fight for it so much?
Because of social norms.
No, but it's not. But it's more. But thing is, they can happily be together. Okay. Think of it this way: as in, like, if LGBTQ, this is just such a long word.
Yeah.
Back in let's say 60 years ago, they wasn't the social norm.
What to get? Oh, what to be? Okay,
that wasn't the social norm. Mm-hmm. So then, if you're saying it's a social norm, 60 years ago they weren't a social norm, but yet they're still fighting for something that a lot. So
you're saying why has marriage remained a social norm for so long?
This long? Maybe it's more than just a social norm. Maybe it's like
because it's one of the biggest social norms in the world that we've ever seen.
Maybe it's actually just part of our society DNA to get married.
No.
What do you mean?
No.
But what? No, but why would you fight for something that, let's say, discriminated against you 60 years ago?
Okay, all right. I won't disagree with the fact that you said marriage. What did you say about marriage? It being
is it
like,
necessary or is it old-fashioned?
No. But you said that, like, the fact that it's something kind of that has the idea that it stayed around for so long. So, like,
it's been around for a million of years. Like.
So the concept.
No.
So you said it was part of our kind of like human DNA. It's a part of
our DNA.
Yeah. Okay.
DNA.
So speaking on that, like, yes, I agree with you. But I think marriage has come as a result of the need to, like, commit your time and your attention to one person.
But isn't that a good thing though?
Not when it becomes problematic in today's society. No.
Whoa. What do you mean by problematic?
Because the social norms that where it was before, where you'd be where you'd kind of, I don't know, leave your house at 18 and get married at 19 or something like that. Times were different back then. Yeah, like, marriage was a tool. I guess, and I don't really want to speak on this too much, but from my understanding and from what I believe and what I can look back and see, marriage was a tool to kind of depress and suppress women, like, for a very long time. Like, it wasn't something that benefited the woman for a very long time.
I don't agree with that, but I think I don't agree with it in the sense that I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Not every woman.
No, I understand where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. But my take on that is that that's down to your relationship and not necessarily society. In the sense of, like, I know loads of people that got married 60 years ago, 70 years ago, but they're equal to their partner. That's down to your relationship, not society.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Not really.
Okay, let me explain. So, like, you say that you feel like marriage was there to suppress women. And all
No, I didn't say that. I said
you said that.
I said it was evolution.
Yeah.
Of the need to commit your time and attention to one person.
Yeah.
That you really like.
But you just said about it was
like a life partner is what I'm trying to say. A life partner.
But after you said that, you can check the recording. You said.
I know I said that, but I didn't say that in relation to the context of what you just said. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Fine, don't worry about
it.
But yeah, don't worry. But yeah, marriage is a good thing, guys. You should definitely.
I didn't say it was a good or bad thing. I don't think it's necessary in everybody's contexts. Was that the question? Is marriage necessary?
And so the question was, is marriage necessary or is it old fashioned?
It's old fashioned.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with old fashioned. Like opening the door for a lady is old fashioned. But that's cool. I still do that. I still do that. I still allow people to go, like women to go on the bus before me. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All of that stuff.
This is a funny one. Fish and chips or Friday night curry, just to break the ice a little bit.
Fish and chips or Friday night curry.
Yeah.
They're both kind of butters though. I can't lie.
So done with
I mean, what curry are you talking about? Are you talking about a Caribbean
English,
curry?
like curry, like Friday night curry.
Bruh.
I'm talking about chicken korma from Iceland, bruv, and rice. That's what I'm talking about.
And what you're trying to...
I'm not talking about curry chicken that we have.
Fish and chips. Fish and chips.
Okay, cool.
Just to be, yeah.
Oh, oxtail or stew?
Stew. I fucking hate oxtail, man. There's nothing on it's just bone and fat. That's literally all it is. It's bone and fat.
Are you even Caribbean? Did you just...
My mum loves oxtail.
No.
She cooks it all the time.
I know.
I don't like oxtail.
No. Everyone stop. Did you just choose stew over oxtail and you're Caribbean?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, stew?
Nah.
Like, have you stew chicken? Have you had like Caribbean stew chicken?
Okay, let's rephrase this. African stew or oxtail?
Why is African stew owned by Africans? Why is stew owned by
because
Africans?
they usually do mostly.
No, but
they do no.
Sorry, Caribbeans be doing stews as well.
But listen, their stew and our stew is completely different things. Their stew and our stew are different.
I don't really have like Ghanaian or kind of Nigerian stew.
You've never had any
like
Nigerian or African stew?
I've had like pepper food and stuff and like jollof rice and shit, but like
I love jollof. I think jollof is better than rice and peas. Don't kill me, guys. 100%.
I agree. I would definitely take like jollof rice
over rice and peas any day.
But I think jollof rice could benefit from the peas. I can't lie. Like the peas add something to the rice. It's just that the rice isn't flavored like jollof.
I don't think that will taste.
If you add, I'm not saying exactly like what's it called? It's not kidney beans, is it? It's what's that one? And like black-eyed beans or whatever it is. No, it's kidney beans. It is kidney. Yeah.
Okay.
So not kidney beans. It could be something else. It could be like a little
gunga peas.
Mm.
Gunga peas is peng.
See, there you go.
Gunga peas is nice.
I feel like I have no idea what it is, but I feel like I've eaten it before.
Your mum's definitely cooked with it. 100%.
Wait, gunga.
Gunga. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm sure it's gunga peas.
Where's that from? What is?
It's Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
So you have other red peas.
I have never. What? My mum has like all of the peas, and like I've never seen those peas.
No, you've probably seen it, but you don't know it's gunga peas. So yeah, they're like smaller than the red ones.
How do you spell them?
Do I even have to spell gunga peas? It's just gunga peas. Gunga peas.
Gunga.
Guys, he's legit searching this. Gunga peas. Yeah, that's the peas right there.
Pigeon pea.
Is that what it's called? Pigeon pea.
Yeah. It's a legume.
Yeah, gunga peas is amazing.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gunga peas.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Of course, I'm saying your mum's definitely cooked with it.
For sure.
Right, this is my favorite question because I love to rant about this and it makes me really upset and angry when I watch the news. Is there such thing as an illegal immigrant? And I'll tell you the percentage. So 46% said yes, and then 54% said no.
46% said yes.
Yeah, 46% said yes, and 54% said no. Because all the 54 that said no, you're very.
That just shows you like this is Brexit time, Sam. Oh my days, Sam.
This is
those percentages are way too even, fam.
Too even.
Yeah, this is Brexit times.
So, next question is Lion King debate.
Yes.
Original or remake?
I have not seen Lion King.
You're mad. Okay. First of all, are you even British if you haven't seen?
I mean,
you've never seen The Lion King?
I have never seen the Lion King.
Not even the cartoon?
I have not seen the cartoon. I have not seen the remake.
What?
I have not seen Lion
Where
King.
have you been living?
I just never watched it as a kid. That was just one of the movies that I missed out as a kid. Like we watched as a kid. We actually watched a lot of movies, but
What about it? So
I think I may have like seen a bit of it, but I've never watched
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
it may have been on TV one time. May have watched it for a little bit, and it's like, this is kind of dead. Kind of just went off.
Wow. Okay, you definitely need to watch it before you watch the original. Make sure you watch the remake. Make sure you watch the original.
What did you prefer?
I haven't watched the remake yet, so I can't comment on that.
Okay.
But I know. Well, 97% said the original and 3% said the remake.
Jeez, those are not good numbers.
They are not good numbers at all. But do you know what? The original will always be the favourite for everyone, so I'm not mad at it.
You had Beyonce on the soundtrack and as like one of the main voices and stuff.
I love Beyonce. I love Beyonce, but...
Do you not like Beyonce? What's happening?
No, I'm part of the Beehive.
You're part of it.
In fact, let's go into that next debate. The next question is, does Beyonce have a god complex? Let's talk about that.
Does she have a god complex?
Yes.
Where does this come from?
Because me and my friend was talking about it, and we're just like, the Beehive is mad.
Yeah, that's not hers.
No. But it's like, do you have a responsibility as a celebrity to calm people down and control your fans?
No, not really.
No, but
when you're like Beyonce, not
I know,
really,
but it's like she does no wrong. It's scary. It's mad. Like,
and why can't she do no wrong?
No, but
that's cool.
Her complex is so is that perfection?
But it's like, not a complex that. Oh wait, are you saying this like based on like documentaries or something that you've watched and you've seen how she's been acting?
I think as in like okay, a lot of people say like a lot of haters, say that Beyonce has like a god complex because anything she does, like she does no wrong, and that's scary. Like let's say she swore at someone, 100% people will be like that person probably deserved it. And that's a fact.
But then you're saying that she would do that in the first place then? No,
I'm just saying if she did.
Like you're not providing any context.
No, I'm saying that she did do.
People would say that.
Pardon?
People would say that about her.
No, I'm saying is in like, let's say she swore at someone. Mm-hmm. Her Beehive will attack the person and be like, oh, she only swore because that person provoked
You can't like...
No. Have you not seen what they've done on Instagram?
No.
The Beehive are mad, okay? They're crazy. They're mad. I think
it's just a testament to her. Like, yo.
No, she's sick, but it's scary. I can't explain it. Like, it's mad.
Is it scary to women? Like, is it scary to people that pay attention to this stuff?
No,
For me, I haven't seen. I think I may have seen like there may have been some incident where someone said something about Beyonce and then.
No, but people's careers have been ruined because they said something about Beyonce. That is a god complex right there.
That she has, or that the world gives to her?
That's the question. Does she have it, or does the world give her that?
I mean, the world gives her that. I don't think she's not. She doesn't. I think scary. I mean, and I ain't complaining. You know what I'm saying? She deserves to be in that position.
She deserves what she has because she's worked hard.
Exactly.
But there needs to be a line, as in like people are not trying to send death threats to people just because they spoke to Jay-Z and you're in people's DMs and stuff saying that you should kill yourself. Like, that's scary.
So you're saying she's basically just kind of come out and speak out?
Yeah, just be like, guys, I love you, but chill out. Basically.
And do you think that would actually stop people from
I'm sure, listen, people are like Beyonce crazy. I love Beyonce.
So you're basically saying to me, because she hasn't come out and said anything, you think she slyly enjoys that she has a beehive?
Yeah. I mean, of course she would, because she needs fans to survive.
No, but I mean as kind of like adamant and crazy as they are at times.
Yeah, no, but literally her publicist, I think the other day, literally had to do like a post and was like, chill out.
See?
But her but that was her publicist.
Yeah.
Whereas compared to people like Rihanna and Nicki, they will literally be like Barbs.
But Beyonce is above. Sorry, Beyonce is above.
But that's the thing, though. The fact that you're that high up, that you could just sit and everyone.
It's not about her being that high up. She's come from a different era where she can commands that respect. Like, and not even just respect.
No, but I agree.
She doesn't have to do it. She doesn't have to deal with these things. Like, it's not her that's telling her it's not her that's kind of getting like rioting her fans and getting
Yeah.
her to be this kind of crazy and protective about her.
I
It's something
understand.
that's naturally developed out of people's love and respect for her.
And I love
so
her too.
if anything,
but I'm not gonna go DM a person and say, "Oh, you need to die."
what I'm saying is Beyonce is doing all that she should do. What I
okay.
expect her to do, which is her publicist, because that means
But that's only once in 15, 20 years of her career that's only once.
that's probably because it's going to kind of crazy time to where it's like, oh yeah,
It's
we
been
have to
crazy
speak on
times
this.
from like 3 years ago. What do you mean? People's careers have been destroyed because of the Beehive. That's
Power. I can't lie.
That's
I'm not.
The button phone.
I'm
what
not.
kind of power is that? That you can destroy a person's career just
Okay,
because they say
I'm
something
not
nice.
attacking Beyonce because she has power. Because how many other people have power that shouldn't have power and
That
are
is
like
true.
terrible people because they have power?
Donald Trump. So
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm not knocking
you.
Beyonce for being as talented and amazing as she is, and then having a crazy fan base, and they're slightly destroying people's lives. Like, I can't, I'm not mad at that. That's cool.
Okay.
Like, I can allow that to slide. I
Okay.
can.
Next question: Labour or Conservatives?
I don't care about politics.
You
at all.
should, but anyway, we're gonna argue on this one.
I don't care about politics at all.
But you should, because it's gonna affect you.
Yes, I mean, I definitely like understand why people say that, but the only thing that I have cared about recently is the Brexit vote.
Yeah,
I voted for that. And
Wait, did you vote to leave or remain?
Remain.
I'm a Remain as well.
And when I saw it, kind of affirmed why I don't care about politics. That happening affirmed why I don't care about politics, because regardless of what you believe is the right thing, there's going to be some higher ups dictating what is the right thing or the decision to make. That Brexit wasn't our decision. Do you really think that like
No, I mean people did
it wasn't
vote to
something
leave.
that wanted it wasn't a kind of higher up motive. It wasn't like propaganda was used. The factual kind of information of
was terrible, man.
exactly like
was really
the actual factual information about like whether we should leave or not was out there. And so for anybody making an educated decision, especially about the future of Britain, would have voted to remain.
But some people
So
are stupid.
it purely tells you that there was other motives for the referendum to even come about in the first place. There was other motives for it. It wasn't just because we wanted to give the people a choice. We just want to see what the people are saying. No, it's not that. It's
I
not
hear
that.
you, but I mean the other motive was based on just dumb claims that people like Nigel Farage was just putting.
That's
out
why I don't
there.
want to get into it. But like, but
Just
in
madness.
in relation to that question,
If you had to choose,
if I had to choose Labour,
if
I had to choose Labour,
I think every young person.
But then I think even that's quite dangerous, because you're basically saying, especially how people behave nowadays with politics, it's like you're either this or you're that, or you're that or you're this.
I'm in between.
and it's actually crazy. Like
I'm
for
in
me,
between.
I see loads of stuff about like if you're Labour support, like don't F a Tory or don't touch a Tory or don't love a
Who's
Tory.
doing that?
I've seen that bare times.
No, people are actually
and not
mad.
just recently. I've seen this.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
'Cause
Or
I-
like wearing hats that say fuck, like just kind of exclaiming kind of negative things towards Tories, and like quite proudly. And I've
Wow.
seen people wear these tops. It's quite like it is a thing. It is a thing. So when it gets to that stage, I think it's dangerous, because it should be your personal choice. It's not like what you've been brought up to believe because your family's Labour or your circumstance. It should be a personal
I mean,
choice.
I've always said this.
And I personally believe F all of this shit.
No,
That's
this
me.
is what I believe. I believe that I've always said this about myself. I have Labour morals, but I have a conservative mindset. That's me. I have Labour morals, but I have a conservative mindset.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you. I would agree with you if I actually cared about it. But
No,
yeah.
that's what I have. I would say that because one of the questions I thought I might as well bring up now is, should the NHS be privatised? Obviously Conservatives will be like, yeah, it should. I believe it should to an extent.
Share your story, please, because that will tell you why you should not, like, in terms of when you went to, and if you want to share that story.
What story?
When you were on the plane to America.
Oh yes, that's it. Yeah.
Please,
So
yeah.
the reason why I would actually privatise the NHS.
You would privatise?
Yeah, I would. Because
okay, go ahead.
No, I'm
go
gonna.
ahead,
That's
go
what I
ahead.
said. I got label morals.
Yeah.
But I have a conservative mindset.
No, go ahead. I'm quite interested.
So
to hear
like,
about this.
I have morals as in like, if in my world, I believe in if you give the people the tools and you give them a equal start, whatever they do with those tools is down to them. The same idea with no. Why are you laughing?
I just think that's a mad thing to say.
Pardon?
No. Like I just think that's a mad thing to say. But go ahead. I like it. I like it.
No, tools as in like if you've been given free education, if you've been given a house, if you've been given the opportunity to go to university for free, and you've been able to get all these other courses or do what you need to do, like if you've been given the opportunity to learn how to use a camera, if you've been given, like, I'm all about, if you give the tools to the person, it's now down to them to make themselves great.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person I am. I don't believe in sponging off the government. One, I do believe some things should have competition. That's what I said. I have a very conservative mindset, but my moral is at least give the people the opportunity to have the tools to do that.
Yes.
Hence why I said.
So you don't like dependency, is what
I
you're
don't
saying.
like dependency because my mom, I'm Caribbean, yeah? Caribbean, we have a very good work ethic. Caribbean moms will work 2 jobs and look after their pitney. You understand?
Yeah,
we have a very work ethic. I was born in Jamaica. What's benefits in Jamaica? What is that? You pay for everything. You work hard and you see yourself grow. That is a conservative mindset. You work hard, you see everything grow. Where the moral comes in terms of the labor moral is, let me give you the tools so that you can grow. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a balance. Why I want the NHS to be privatized to an extent is because when I was sick, so I had an asthma attack on the plane and I collapsed. And this is when I was going to Florida like a month ago. And I was rushed to a private hospital in America. My bill was crazy. My bill was under 10 grand, yeah? But when I got there, did I not get the best care? Did I not get my own doctor, own nurse? And there was no 4 or 5 hours waiting list. There was no 4 or 5.
How quick were you seeing?
As soon as I stepped in, here's her room.
Oh, mad. Okay, fair enough.
As soon as I stepped, there was no.
That's not how it is over there.
It's not like this over here. Yeah. You can see I can see the issue.
I mean, there are private hospitals here.
There are private hospitals. Like me, I will listen. I've been looking to get private healthcare for over here because I can see the difference. Why am I waiting for 6? Let's say I'm dying and I'm waiting 6 hours. What am I waiting 6 hours for? And I could be dying and I don't even know. What is it going to take me to collapse before you can? Nah. Forget it. Privatize it. Privatize it to an extent because I'm a big believer as in if it's self-conflicted. This is why I said to an extent. If you've self-conflicted your illness, you should pay for it. Yeah. If you're fat and your doctor has been telling you time and time again to lose weight and you're just here fat, yeah? Why am I paying for your gastric band? Yeah. Pay for that yourself. That's self-inflicted. You know you shouldn't be smoking. You see them advertising every 2 minutes and you have lung cancer. That's you. Pay for yourself. Pay for yourself. It's not like pay for yourself, yeah? If you decided to take drugs and there was nothing wrong with you, there's no abuse, that's your business. Pay for yourself.
All right, I hear what you're saying. You make a very
obviously if it's like a child or then fair enough, it should be free. An old person, it should be free. But if it is self-conflicted, pay for it yourself. Simple. Done. That's what I say to that. That's
I think you make a very good argument. You make a very good argument. But what I would say to that is, I think we can keep the NHS how it is. Have certain kind of limitations in that aspect. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. So definitely agree with that. But I think keep it how it is, but with those limitations. If like have a category for self-inflicted, you have to pay. Or at least.
And I feel like if we want to contribute more, we should be able to.
But the reason why I say, the reason why I say keep the NHS how it is because if a lot of the argument is that the waiting times are bad and all of this stuff.
No, but it's more than just the waiting time.
A service is bad.
Everything.
Is medicine. All of this stuff is bad.
The nurses are not even paid well.
But it's still a job. It's still a job. That's what I'm saying.
No.
One second.
You can't just say No, okay, I'm going to correct you, right? I know a lot of nurses, yeah. One of my big sisters, shout out to Monique, yeah. She's a nurse, and she will even say it should be privatized. Every nurse that I've spoken to says it needs to be privatized. So, yeah, so as I was saying before, like, yeah, to an extent, you know? And I feel like we should be able to choose if we want to make more of a contribution to the NHS.
Totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do. It's just funny. I think it's just...
Listen, I'm just
with what I was saying
truth.
before, I think there should still be an NHS, like a private, but also a private option for people that want the better care, which there is.
Which there is, but no one knows about it. And by the way, guys, like, I want to do it, and I actually I got a quote. My quote was like £84 a month, which is like like a phone bill for private care. And that covers if I had cancer or anything, and I can go to a private hospital.
See, that's calm. I think just making what should happen.
Yeah.
What should happen actually, because people see private hospitals as the same thing as like private childcare and like or private kind of schooling, and then so they see it as like something that's very expensive.
But it's not.
I did until you just told me that right now.
It's £84.
So what could happen is if you kind of have people kind of advertising it and kind of making. Well, just kind of getting the exposure of this kind of information out there. So I'm sure people would be happily kind of ready to, but also kind of afford, like they can afford to pay £84
You can afford private healthcare, and that's a fact.
And especially if you're, I don't know, maybe if you've had bad kind of experiences of having to have like urgent kind of care or treatment, and then you've had to wait kind of 3-4 hours just to get that.
I'll even make it even more persuasive, guys. Like a friend of mine, my son's friend's mum, she basically had an ectopic pregnancy. She went to the NHS.
What does that mean?
It means that the baby's growing in your tube, and that could kill you and the baby. Okay. It's not growing in the womb, it's growing in the tube. So she was like, and she's a bit older, she's like in her 40s. So she just thought, oh, maybe it's menopause or I'm bleeding heavily. But she's like, no, the pain is just too much. She went to an NHS.
So she didn't actually know she was pregnant?
She never knew. She went to an NHS doctor. They're like, oh, it's just menopause. She went again, oh, it's just menopause. Oh, it might just whatever. She had to go to a private doctor. She was this close to dying. They had to, but look, if she never went to that private doctor... Because private doctor, they will give you the hour or the half an hour time. Remember NHS, when you do GPs, they're trying to do the 15-minute window. Hurry up, next person. You can't treat a patient in 15 to 20 minutes, especially in things like that when because you're young, you just graduated.
See, in those instances,
just thinking, oh, it's just menopause.
That's why the exposure of this information, I think, is really important, because in those instances, there'll be people that are in that kind of position, and they've kind of been to the hospital with bad times, and they keep telling this, oh, it's okay, or maybe it's been misdiagnosed. But they don't know of a kind of private hospital to go to. They've never had anybody talk to them about going to a private hospital. They don't know that it could be kind of not as expensive as they think, or more of a kind of investment to kind of take up some sort of insurance.
It is like take out insurance, take out life insurance. I think maybe I'm talking about this because I have a child, so I'm always prepared for all the stupidness. Like, and that's the £84 included me and my son, so cover me and my son. I have life insurance.
So how much would it have costed just with just yourself? I
think like £50-60.
That is not much at all.
And that covers everything.
That is not much at all. That's literally.
And because you're young, it will be less, because obviously you're not expecting to get sick. But if you do, your health insurance will pay for it for the private hospital.
Wow.
Check it out. Guys, do your research.
This is good information. No, but like, this is what I'm saying. Like, not a lot of people know about that. And like, I didn't even know about that. Where am I going to hear about that from?
They're not
from somebody that has lived experience.
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of share all of this kind of stuff and let people know.
And even listen, I will even send my son to private school. Listen, privatizing is not that bad. It's not bad at all.
Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
What?
Private school?
Yeah, that was actually one of my debates. Private school, public school. So what do you think? Because we both went public school.
Yeah. So I would send no matter how much money I have, I would send my school to. I'll send my kids to a public school. Unless I have like ridiculous amount of money, then obviously But
wait, no. Why would you send your child to public school?
Because I believe there are certain norms and values. Like, I'll purposely send my kid to a bad school as well, actually. And I believe because I went to IAMS. Like,
Listen,
like it
IAMS,
creates character, man. It creates character.
It does create character. I remember my mom.
Honestly, you need to struggle in life for you to develop some sort of character, some sort of ownership of your life and your life decisions. I think you need to be tested and tried. So that means as your kid, as you're growing up in these very formative years of your life, you need to be tried and tested. I'm not going to give you everything. No. I'm very adamant about that.
I need to tell my son that because my son thinks that mommy is the bank.
There you go, and that's because how you raise your kids, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to say that, but I'm sure that's because you're very like you. Would you want to send?
I will send my son to private school.
Okay.
Only because I believe in the best of the best, and I'm about that. I believe in giving my child the best of the best of the best.
Do you think that's necessary though?
It is necessary. I want my son to have a head start than everybody else. Okay, I'm selfish. Kill me.
That's fair, but I don't think that's necessary. Like we're already in a country where
look at the statistics.
What do you mean?
Like most people that go to like even when I was looking for my graduate jobs, a lot of these graduate jobs said has to be a Russell Group University, had to have some.
That's just top 20 though.
No, but it's not even that. But you have to break it down
top
to
20 like unis.
Top 20 unis. Fair enough, but then you break it down. The percentage of people going to top 20 universities come from private schools. Why would I not want to give my son the head start?
Why do you believe that private school is the only route to?
Because I know, I know a boy that went to public and then he went to private, and he literally said, and he has got dyslexia. He was like,
see, the way you start forwarding stuff like learning disability, like that's when, like obviously the more support for your kid with in those situations.
But even if he didn't have it, the classrooms are smaller. It's like 10 people, bruv.
I know.
Why would you want your kid to be in a class of 30 crazy children?
Because of character.
Nah, forget it.
Character.
You can build character elsewhere. Build character doing sports. Build character on the road.
You're right. You can build character elsewhere, but I want my kids to grow up with a similar experience to how I grew up.
Yeah, but that's not fair though.
Yes, it is.
It's not fair.
I'm your parent.
No, it's not fair. Do you know what it is? Because I know for a fact that your mum wouldn't want you to go through what she went through. So why would you want your child to go through it?
What, like we're talking about like public schools as if they're like the baddest thing in. No, but say it isn't like one of the best educations you can get in the world. Like it's one of our free public school education is one of the best. It's not that great, but it is one of the best in the world.
Okay, it might be one of the best in the world because of the country it's in, not because of actually what they teach you. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I know. So I'm saying for me, like it's more important because school. Okay, it's more about how I view education systems.
That's what it is.
Society.
I view it as
it is. I don't believe that we should kind of give the education system as much, and private schools and stuff like this, as much kind of ownership on kind of giving our children the tools to survive in this world. I feel like you're slightly failing as a parent if you do that. That's my opinion.
No, okay.
That's my opinion.
No, I hear you, but as a parent myself, I believe that education is so important. You need to learn to read and write. You need to learn about stuff, and I want my son to be able to choose subject that he genuinely enjoys and be a master at that subject. I believe in people should be a master at what they do.
Why do you think he needs to go to private school to do that?
Because you learn more, and it's more attention to what you need to learn. There's more, it's just better. The education is better. You have more time with your teacher. If they will see if you're slipping up.
What are you sacrificing for these things? That's the question I'm asking you, because I'm saying you can supplement.
I don't think you're sacrificing.
You can. Though. Oh yes, you are. Like you can supplement.
Been, so you wouldn't know.
I know people that have been private schools and
told me these things. But then how do you know they're sacrificing stuff?
Because they're sacrificing. Okay.
What? Not getting beaten up?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a. I learned how to fight in secondary school. Get beaten
up though? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's about learning how to fight. It's about learning shit can happen. Like there are consequences to your actions. That like life isn't just given to you.
I hear that. I do hear that. But like to say, I don't know.
Like
we'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah.
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah. But do you see what I'm
sending
saying?
my son to private school,
And that's cool. But I'm saying for me, like you can supplement. For me, honestly, I believe I want to know what is the best way to educate my child.
The best
not
way
a
to
school,
education.
not a school. I want to know the best way to educate my child.
I would say life experience.
I'm not saying
like
that I have to be experienced in coding if I want him to understand the importance of coding to do that. I would just know that as a kid being born at, I don't know, so say if I have a kid in 10 years, 2029, I know as I know as a kid that's born in this time, what you're kind of projected to need to know. And then I will kind of decide what I want you to pay attention more to. I don't feel like it has to be up to the schools to know that and then to prepare them for the life that they're eventually going to live. Because they have more chances, or they have a more kind of probability to not get it completely right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I will agree to disagree.
And it's not just that. I think in public schools, it builds character that is not built in a private school, for those very same reasons that it's understaffed, under-resourced, 30 kids in a class, for all of those reasons. And that's very important, I think.
Listen, my child will be able to build character elsewhere.
That's cool. You're just gonna have to supplement that. It's not gonna happen in private school.
I will teach him character because my son knows. Listen,
as I said, that's cool. You just gotta know what you're working with. That's for me.
That's fine.
For me, I want to work with public school education. You can learn your character there. I don't want to teach you how to fight. I want you to learn how to fight for yourself.
Lord
all
Jesus,
that stuff. I said I wouldn't send it to a bad school. I wouldn't send it to a bad school. Maybe not my daughter. I'll probably be a bit more lenient on my daughter if I have a daughter. But my son, oh my days, you're going to the worst school possible. Trust me.
Anyway,
I want him to learn.
No, there's other ways of learning.
No.
There isn't.
It's not like watching a documentary and then that's how they feel. Oh, I didn't know that. No, it's not that. This is lived experience.
Okay, cool.
You need to struggle sometimes. You need to know what struggle is, man.
Guys, don't let your children struggle. Anyway,
not like that, but you need.
You just said you're gonna send your child to the worst school.
Yeah.
And
because I'm gonna prepare them for.
And you'll come out with DDDEF.
No, what? That's not happening. That's never happening to mine. No.
But you just sent him to a worse school. Like you said, it's under resourced. 30 kids.
Okay, first of all, DDDF. That's just because you didn't revise. Sorry, that's because you didn't revise. Like revising and memory equals good results. Good education can equal good results, but it's not always the equal to good results. There are people that have gone private schools that I'm sure have gotten shitty results because their kid is not very smart. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is.